Right then, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be doing some myth busting. So, what you can see behind me are the remains of a V10 Touareg. The reason why we've got this and it's in this state is because we purchased it, the engine had been flooded, hydrolocked. So we've basically been breaking it for the last couple of months of parts. We've sold quite a few bits off it. There's only a few bits left. But before this goes to the scrapyard, we thought we'd do a little bit of testing. So we've been given the opportunity by Rydam, which are about 15 miles away from us. They're the suppliers of Novawinch in the UK. They've got some pretty heavy rigs and a 50-ton load cell, which means we can do some pretty heavy pulling on the recovery points of the Touareg and measure the force while we're doing it. So we'll have a quick look at the standard recovery points on the Touareg. So the first test is going to be using the standard factory TDIs recovery points, if you like to call them that. Not sure if these are actually rated for recovery. There are 2 points on the Touaregs. So on the standard crash bar, we've got one there and one there. Same on the back, so I suppose you've got 4 points in total. From what we've seen on the internet, there is a thread where some guys tested these on their own to destruction to see how much force you can put on that before it breaks. They are supposed to be stronger than your average Volkswagen towing eye. So we've used them right at the beginning of our other overland projects. We've used these to do recoveries. Generally we'll try and bridge them, so you've got a strap connecting the two together, so you're not putting all the force on just one, but they've seemed to work pretty well in the past. We're also going to be testing these, so these are replacements for the standard towing points. So we sell these on the website. So we don't actually list these as a recovery point. If you're running our light bar setup, you can run these as a replacement towing point because these are too short to run with the light bar setup. So a lot of people are buying these just for aesthetic. Like I said, you can put those in there, you can run a D-link, looks pretty good, but then you've still got a towing point. We have tested these doing recoveries, but again, at the minute these are not rated, so we haven't really pushed these as a recovery point. So the other options that we're going to be testing today, this is our winch plate. So basically this replaces the standard crash bar, uses the standard 8 bolts to mount this onto the chassis legs. Yeah, your winch should normally mount onto there, so obviously there's a lot of force on this plate. This has also got some recovery points, so again you can add a D-link onto there and you can use these to recover off. So we're going to be testing that. And then this at the back, this is the foundation of our rear tubular bumper. So this is pretty much the same across all the Touareg platforms. It's just the tubular parts that are shaped different to suit the bumpers. So again, we've got 2 recovery points either side. These normally double up, so you get a plate and that doubles up, so you've got a nice strong recovery point either side. What we're going to be testing today though is the receiver hitch. There you are, you can add a receiver in there, 2-inch receiver. We're going to anchor that down, and as I said, we're going to use the heavy rigs that they've got at Rydam to basically try and pull the front of the car and the back end of the car at the same time. As I mentioned, the load cell that they've got there reads up to 50 ton. So if we can get anywhere close to 50 ton, that'd be pretty good for any of these recovery points. Eventually, towards the back end of the testing, if that all survives, we're just going to carry on going. We're just going to see how much force, although we can't read it above 50 ton, we're going to see how much force it takes and see what actually fails first. Because the question a lot of people have, and I suppose we've had it as well when we've got ourselves into some sticky situations and doing recoveries, is what component would actually fail on this if something was to fail. So as you've just seen, the crash bar is held on by 8 bolts. Is it going to be the bolts that fail? Is the crash bar going to fail itself, the welds on the crash bar? I suppose the mounting points where those bolts go into. So you can kind of see there the crash bar bolts just going into like a captive nut. So is it going to pull the threads out of there? We're not 100% sure. Same on the back. crash bar has been removed already, so we put some studs in there to make it easier. But basically, the standard crash bar normally just bolts into those bolt holes. Are the threads going to fail? I'm sure we're going to find out. So we're just going to get this loaded up now, get it on the trailer. We're going to go through to Rydam this afternoon. We're going to do some testing, so hopefully this makes a very interesting video. We're going to be setting up quite a few GoPros, try and get the action in slow motion, because at some point we do reckon something's going to fail, and when it does, when you're putting 50 ton of force on something and it lets go, it can be catastrophic, which is not what you want in a recovery situation. But yeah, that's why we're doing this testing, to find out what the limits are, if we found any weaknesses in the winch plate, in the setup, how it's bolted to the crash bar and the chassis legs and everything. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So, as you can see, we've just arrived at Rydam. Just waiting for Rye to turn up with the Amarok and the scrap Touareg on the trailer. But yeah, I mentioned in the intro to this video that there's going to be some pretty big rigs. That's one of them. And then that's the other one. Some big, heavy D-links there. Some big, heavy-duty straps. And as I mentioned, what we're basically going to do is put the scrap Touareg in the middle of these two and try and pull it apart. At some point we're going to find the failure point, but that's why we're doing this video, to see what that failure point is, what's going to fail first, and obviously get a little bit more data for the tubular bumpers and the winch mounts that we sell for these Touaregs. So yeah, should be pretty good. Rye's just coming around the corner now. So yeah, we'll get everything set up and then we'll check back in and see how we're going to do this, because this is quite new for us, not done this before. We're going to have to be watching this from a safe distance. What we're doing at the minute, because we want to test the front and the back recovery points, rather than pulling them one back and one front, because we've only got one load cell to do the measuring, putting a big strap around the back end of the car. So the first test we're going to be pulling forward. We're not going to try and pull back on the rear bumper yet, so that can be a completely separate test. So not 100% sure how this is going to go. Might start deforming the car depending on how much force it takes to pull forward, but pretty much set up now. We've got the standard towing recovery points in there. So let's see what's going to fail first. What do you reckon, Rye? What do you think is going to be a failure point?
They're definitely going to fail, but I think these are designed to fail, aren't they? They're thinner here. That's designed to break first, so you're not ripping out the front of your car off. But yeah, there's quite a few people actually done like laboratory testing on them, I think, haven't they?
So that you can just see on the floor, that's the load cell. So that's going to measure up to 50 ton of force. And then I'm not exactly sure how much this vehicle weighs, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to move anywhere. And that is probably one of the most heavy duty winches that you're going to get. And then rather than it going on a weird angle, it's going to come down to this D-link here, and then we're going to have a snatch block, so that'll keep that line quite low to the floor. So then it's not going to try and lift the front end of the vehicle up. Just a few taps.
So how many tons that shackle here?
7 to 1, so yeah, so
So basically, just to explain what we're doing here, the load cell is not a cheap piece of equipment. What we don't want to happen is when it snaps, to just drop to the floor. So that's what the crane's doing. It's just going to support the weight of the load cell. So then at breaking point, it's not just slamming on the floor. It's just going to stop it, and it'll basically do what it's doing now and just kind of float. So from the load cell, got this wire, which comes just over here to a screen. You can monitor the force on that. It means we can be quite away from where the carnage is going to happen. Right, test number 1 then. Yeah. So there's a bit of force already. Can I hide behind you, Rob? Feel like the back window's gonna go. So that goes up to 50 and we're on 5.5 a minute. Right. And it's already destroyed back at car.
Who's that white car over there?
Whoa!
Oh, crash bar.
That tube got the one that it to achieve. What did it get to?
8 ton, yeah. The failure point was 8 ton. Let's have a look at what's actually failed.
Not the crash bar. Look at that. Not a thing wrong with it. Yeah. So that is the fail point on the car then, isn't it?
No, we've got another one now.
Yeah, we've got another one of them, haven't we?
Right, screw both of them in and do them together.
Yeah.
So you know I made them a lot stronger then, right?
Yeah. Just met
Stiffing
that.
out welds up.
Well, that answers one question that a few people's asked.
Which failed first?
Well, yeah.
So when I come out of this crossman would come off.
Yeah.
We figured that out now, haven't we?
That's a factory Volkswagen recovery point, and at 8 ton, the crash bar has failed before that. So, yeah, it's a good job we fetched a spare. We'll get it swapped over and we'll do test number 2. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit rusty at the back of that, so obviously would a brand new one be better?
This has started to bend as well.
Yeah.
It has started to tweak ends at chassis legs.
Has it?
Yeah.
Bit of fatigue. Yeah. It has started to pull through, started to deform this.
What do you think? Because
This is a V10 or something. Yeah. You are?
they're starting to go a little bit, do you think it's worth putting our plate on and just see?
Yeah.
If we do it again, we might not have any.
Yeah.
I think if we
If
do,
we do it as a bridle, we are going to bend that, aren't we?
Yeah.
yeah. So I think just put ours on.
We can make it longer,
No.
so it don't form in.
Yeah, that's not the point. It's already started bending.
Yeah, these have already started deforming. So I think if we put our winch plate on and just pull that,
Yeah.
and just see if it pulls these off.
Yeah. We know we're going to pull them off the standard one, so we want to see that.
Yeah. Don't want to default from like here.
So while Rob's putting the winch plate on, we're going to skip test number 2 because it's already damaging the chassis legs. So Rob's going to whack that on. But let's have a look at the damage at the back end here. Absolute carnage. It's a big old strap. thicker than my hand. Surprised the back windows didn't go through. Yeah. If it wasn't repairable before, it's definitely not now. Putting the winch plate on, these are the old bolts. You can just about make that out, probably not. But that's a 10.9 bolt. Fitting that on now with some cap heads, and they're 12.9. So higher tensile bolts. So if the bolts were going to be at a failure point, the new ones are a little bit stronger. So physically looking at these, they definitely look a lot more robust than the standard ones. What is the failure point this time? Is it going to be the bolts? I think, based on the previous test, I think it's going to be at the end of the chassis legs. But we'll see. So pretty much ready for test number 2 now. So we're going to bridge these together. Confident.
Chassis, NZ chassis.
It's going to happen this time, right? It went with quite a big bang, that.
The front fell off. You need to find that clip. Have you seen? Do you know which I'm on about?
No.
Oh, Indian door, innit? 2 Australian comedians. The front fell off. You need to put it in.
This ship that was involved in the incident off Western Australia this week...
Yeah, the one the front fell off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not very typical. I'd like to make that point.
Well, how is it untypical?
Well, there are a lot of these ships going around the world all the time, and very seldom does anything like this happen. I just don't want people thinking that tankers aren't safe.
Was this tanker safe?
Well, I was thinking more about the other ones.
Right then, test number 2. Everyone's standing back for this one.
I don't think it'll be much more.
Oh no!
How's that happened? You're saying double or not?
You think double?
It's got to be double what that was. Minimum double. I reckon back in car.
Let's find out. I'm going to be surprised if them back windows don't go through. It's not a nice noise, that, is it? I'm surprised them back windows haven't gone through yet. Oh, that's one. What are we on?
Well,
Back window smashing. The other side's gone. Was it gone back down now?
Other side of the car. Yeah, it's gone down, but
Shot 14 ton.
It was at 14 ton. Let's have a look what's happened. It's going through, isn't it? There's not much left on that. Do you think we're going to have to tighten it back? I think we might have to go to that rear receiver. I think it's just going to pull through, isn't it? Shall we measure wheelbase now and see how much longer it is?
well, it's never been used.
What, is that my pin? You owe me a new pin, Rob. In fact,
Your pin,
that's my receiver as well, isn't
yeah,
it?
no.
I'll fix the box.
So, winch plate on the front, receiver hitch on the back. Still going to measure the load. So it'll reach the peak load, and then it's just whichever fails first, the front or the back. So place your bets.
ready to go on, yeah?
Yeah, we're all good. Comment below, let us know what do you think is going to go, the winch plate or the receiver hitch.
What we on there? What we on?
Bent the back. Snapped a stud.
Yeah, we had studs in it, just shade stud. Yeah.
That's that.
I feel like we could probably put straps round there and bridge it that way. You're not pulling a bit different, aren't you?
It's a bit of an unfair test really, because this is normally welded to the top tube as well. Alright, let's try again and we'll see. I think the studs are going to go this time.
We can pull one of those.
What are we on? 16 ton a minute. So all good so far. Just show you, because we didn't really have time before. So we've basically just gone around this section of the rear crash bar. I'm going to have to re-evaluate because we're not sure when we had the strap round the back if that's already bent the rear crash bar slightly, and then that's caused a weak point. But this is why we're doing the test, to find the weaknesses so we can address them, make things better, and just because we want to test this V10 to destruction. Everybody likes a bit of carnage. Have a quick look at the front as well, see what's happening before we continue. So it is pulling these inwards, starting to pull it away a little bit. End of the chassis legs started to deform. Same on this side. It's definitely bridging it. It's quite a short bridge really. It's definitely trying to pull them together, pulling these 2 points. But the bolts and the chassis legs seem to be holding up. Right, so we're ready. I think this is going to be the final one to destruction. So what we've just done here is we're doing a double line pull now. So it comes to that D-link and then back to the truck. I think it was struggling a little bit last time, so let's see how this goes. What are we on? 18 and a half, 19. Whoa! 20. It don't quite line up anymore, does it? So it's good to know the winch plate's not the weak point. It's physically just pulled off the end of the chassis legs. See you later. So this is a bit of bonus footage for you. This is not any sort of scientific testing. This is literally just for your entertainment. So all we're going to do, we're going to put this big strap back round the back, strap it onto the crane, put a big strap round the front and pull it, and literally we're just going to try and separate the car. See if we can split it in two, see what fails first, just for entertainment purposes. So we've just done the bonus footage, so this bit of the video is basically the conclusion to the scientific tests that we're doing. If you can call them scientific, probably not science, yeah, they're not that scientific. But yeah, I think in hindsight, I think it's been educational. We've learned that the winch plate is pretty strong. The standard toe eyes actually surprised me. I thought they were going to snap.
We can review, obviously there's been a lot happening, so we can review all footage. And
look back. I think on the rear bumper, again in hindsight, I think if we were to do this test again, we'd do a full rear bumper. We thought that the section that we'd put together today to do this test would be enough, but I'll just show you on mine. So this is what they normally look like. The bit that we've tested is literally just that bit under there. As you can see, it actually ties into a bottom bar and also ties into this top bar as well. So probably not the best test to prove the strength of the rear bumpers. We've done plenty of recoveries on these and we've never had any problems, but I think after doing that test, it's definitely something that we could easily improve on, whether that's just increasing the thickness of the box section, maybe putting some more gusseting in. But yeah, there's definitely improvements to be made, and that's the main reason why we've come today to see what the weaknesses are and improve on them. So yeah, really good test. So we're just going to finish strapping on, and yeah, that feels done for the day. So we're going to call that a day. Thank you very much to everyone at Rydam Universal. We're going to put a link to their website in the description. They mainly specialise in heavy recovery gear, so winch parts, chains, straps, all that kind of stuff. As we've just had a little sneaky tour inside, they do all their own embroidery, so I've got a nice new Novawinch hat. But yeah, I think overall we've done a decent test today. Not entirely scientific, we've done this just for a bit of a laugh as well, for entertainment purposes for YouTube. So I hope you've all enjoyed this video. Definitely different to what we normally do. But yeah, it's been educational for us. There's certain aspects of the parts that we sell that we know we can improve, and now we know that some of the parts, especially the winch plate, is definitely up for the job of obviously winching. So yeah, massive thanks again to everyone at Rydam. Check out the link in the description. If you did like this video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.